Hello, everybody. Welcome to the Midnight Spotlight, the home of some dudes who got thoughts on movies. My name's Cole.
My name's Carlos.
I'm Dalton.
And as you can see, we're joined here today. We're in person. Dalton's here with us. We get to look at his lovely face.
Yeah, and face reveal.
We're here to have some fun today, and we're going to be talking about another unconventional Christmas movie, one that has been hotly debated, and I use that word hot, steamy, hot, spicy meat of a movie. Die Hard. 80s classic, arguably one of the most well-renowned action movies of all time, and it's one of my favorite action movies of all time. Having suggested this, I'm very curious to see what you guys are going to think about this, but you've both seen this before, yeah?
No, I've never seen it.
Wait, really?
You haven't?
This is the first time.
Bro, what? Okay.
First time. I've been wanting to see it, but I've never gotten to it.
Cole has a giant John McClane cardboard cutout in his bed.
Yeah.
Look, I wasn't
looking over
looking
him.
it up, but if you guys want to see it, just let me know.
A giant John McClane body pillow.
Yeah.
In his room right now.
I don't know how
and
I
I know
saw
because
that.
I'm here. I'm in his room.
I hid that shit very well, mind you, so he was snooping around. But yes, we're getting an action movie in. How often does that happen? That never happens.
So yeah, usually it's horror.
Still?
The Bronx Tale is somewhat action-y towards the end of it, and this one is a Christmas movie.
Yeah.
Kind of.
You heard it here first. And it is a Christmas movie, which is, of course, why we're looking at it, even though some people, not going to say who, someone not in this room, might not think it is a Christmas movie, but it is. And yeah, it's a lot of fun. So Bruce Willis, this was kind of his big break. You know, he was in a sitcom most predominantly before this, but he wasn't really known for much else other than that. So this comes out and it kind of turns an action star out of him.
Yeah. So coming off his Seinfeld fame, this is this is his
really
first
quick.
movie. No.
Maybe pull the microphone a little bit away because it's like clipping a little bit.
Oh, is it
Okay. Yeah, it's good.
Okay.
Just early before we get started.
That's a good thing you caught that.
Thanks, Dalton, for interrupting me.
Okay.
Anytime.
Anyways, Bruce Willis,
he's in
Seinfeld. No, I don't know.
Oh, okay, it's some
Which,
bullshit.
yeah, it was some sitcom, but yeah, he was not typical action star of this time. Usually, you're looking for Arnold Schwarzenegger's or Stallone's or Carl Matthews.
I don't know who that is, but you
Carl
know,
Weathers?
whatever.
Carl Weathers. Yeah, I know I said that last name wrong.
Okay, but
Yeah,
Bruce Matthews.
Sylvester Stallone's. Yeah, it was
a different
big,
time.
big muscly dudes that sweat a lot.
yeah.
He wasn't one of them.
Yeah, that's true. And I think it actually works really well into the character of John McClane because he himself is kind of a reluctant hero at the end of the day. He's a cop. He's just a cop from New York City who just happens to get caught up in this whole airport hotel heist. Not an airport. That's the second movie. It's a hotel heist.
It's not a hotel. It's a business building.
Oh, I thought it was.
Yeah, it's just like an
It's
office
the same
building.
shit.
It's like an office. Yeah, big office.
We
Do
didn't
you
watch the
sleep
same
in
movie.
office buildings? I didn't think so.
Well, no, okay. But yeah, he just ends up getting caught up on all of it. And of course, we have a group of terrorists, and led by none other than Alan Rickman, the man himself. He's Snape, right?
A slippery
Yes.
snake.
Didn't know if I was getting that right or not. That was 10, 15 years after this. But,
Yeah.
man does a phenomenal job. Like, that's the one thing I can say. And, you know, we're not talking spoilers just yet. We'll let y'all know when we do. But this movie, it's very well known for its sense of humor, I guess. It's kind of been thought of to be more of an extension of Bruce Willis, but I think the credit mostly goes to the writing and how that works.
I think it was mostly in the book itself. I haven't read it.
It's a book?
It was a book.
It was it's based off a book, which is kind of why they were willing to go more with less like an action-y hero, more of like almost like a I don't want to say traditional hero, but almost like a David versus Goliath kind of thing. Because obviously he wasn't first pick, but it's more interesting of a character than having like just a perfect kind of guy, like an army, like ex-military or something like that.
Yeah.
And I think that's what really works for this. But yeah, it was based off a book, and I think in the book itself, it plays out a little bit more comedic and lighter toned, but like a little bit more action.
Yeah.
But of course, I don't doubt that Bruce Willis is they kind of just let him loose, and when he works, even though we haven't seen him recently, when he works, he does it really well.
Dead.
Well, he's not dead. He's kind of dead on the inside.
I saw somebody say he was dead, and I don't know if it was true. I don't know if it was true or not. The thing is, Bruce Willis might as well be dead. All right,
He's dead to us.
We get to revel in the performance that he gave us here. But no, you're right.
Yeah,
he does. He gets let loose.
I mean, this time
They unleash him.
was he in The Sixth Sense yet?
Yeah.
He had done it?
Not
Oh, no,
not yet.
That was like 10 years later.
Oh wow,
It was like 20 years later.
That's not that long.
20 years
30.
later.
Fuck your time.
like 40 years later. Yeah. No, it was. He definitely knew how to act. I think he's a great performer when he wants to perform, but he
feels
kind of
like
carries
it.
this movie because it's mostly centered around him, and of course, McGruber. Was his name?
I think it's
Hans Gruber. Not McGruber.
If he showed up in this movie, that show would have gotten really.
I just didn't even watch the movie.
No.
Yeah.
You're right. It's kind of like a back and forth.
Hans Gruber is like they both do carry this movie because they both have a motivation. I think Hans Gruber is a little bit more ambiguous, which is fine because he's not the traditional terrorist, but he kind of acts mostly terroristically. Yeah,
It's a terror.
role. And of course, they give motivation to Bruce Willis, which I think is part of the reason why people kind of fell off the Die Hard series later on, because I just remember a lot of people just not being into it because he didn't have much motivation.
Okay,
It's so
it's true. There was a sound. But no, you're right about that. And in this movie, it does feel very believable. There are a lot of moments that you really do feel like Bruce Willis is a human being and he's not some kind of superhero. The
He's
same
just a
way
New
that,
York cop.
yeah,
from Brooklyn.
in the same, much different than how, Schwarzenegger was perceived back then. I mean, the same director ended up making The Last Action Hero, which was kind of like taking the piss out the action genre as a whole. And the stuff that came out.
But he also did Predator.
Yeah,
which
Predator.
I guess in a way was like almost the same kind of thing, but did it in a different way.
Yeah.
Where it's like
I love
taking the
Predator,
piss out of the traditional hero, because at the beginning they're kind of macho, men, but they get taken down pretty easily by a bigger enemy.
And that's what
It
I
sounds
was
like To
wondering
Catch a
about
Predator too.
this.
Yeah.
The guys are acting all manly, and then they go in and get caught by a bigger predator.
Yeah.
All I'm saying is that if Chris Hansen was in Die Hard, shit would have gone down a lot faster. It'd be a lot shorter of a movie, I can tell you that.
Yeah.
And that's the thing about this movie is that, it doesn't, like, even though it's kind of delving into the macho side of action movies, I don't really feel like it's reveling in that in any way. It doesn't feel like this is just big muscles sweating. But there are muscles and there are sweating.
Yeah.
But it's a movie where, I will say, I do think it's incredibly well paced. I think that, you get the little bit of background information, which is kind of just, it's not in your face, but it's there, which I appreciated. It was one of those things they could have shown all these pictures and had Bruce Willis and his wife in that movie arguing and just expositing all over us, like literally all over Carlos, head to toe. And they didn't, and I think that's a good thing. So, trying to think of where I was going with that.
Dude, I don't know. Anyways, talking about blowing loads.
Okay, I don't know.
They blew the shit out of everything in this movie.
Yeah,
a lot of
that's what I was
explosions.
going to say. Is that that's what happens? Is that after they have their little downtime in the beginning, it kicks off and there are explosions.
There are actiony moments which are done very, very well. Obviously, it's not, again, very different from like traditional action movies where they're like running away from explosions. It's very almost MacGyver-ish.
Oh, never mind.
Yeah, MacGyver-ish, where he kind of just like solves problems. He has to think about things before he does them.
On his feet.
Yeah.
He's obviously in trouble for most of the movie. Because it's almost like a 20 against 1 kind of thing. I don't know if that's exactly how many, but it's obviously the odds are against him. But he says it audibly during the movie, but it's like assess the situation. Don't just go in there gun shooting, or else you're actually gonna die. And that kind of brings it back down to a little bit more earthy, kind of grounded kind of story and kind of character. And I was like, okay, this is this is interesting. Something you're like, okay, I'm interested, and there's tension, and it's fun to be had.
That's the word I would use for most of the movie is tension. I feel like there's a great sense of it throughout basically the entire thing. Yeah. Even when the movie does slow down, when the police and the FBI get involved, and there's some downtime where the characters actually get to talk with one another and their characters get fleshed out, there's still the looming threat of what's actually going on inside that building. And I think the movie never loses track of that.
And also, I mean, but the whole, for almost the first half of the movie, he's like trying to get other cops to help him. Because he knows he can't handle, or he thinks he, it's obviously the situation is much bigger than him. Eventually he has to like take it in his own hands. But for the first pretty much half of the movie, he's just trying to get help. Trying to flag somebody down. It's like, okay, we need some help here. There's a bigger situation. There's people in danger. And he's not going to go in there, like, again, guns blazing, because he doesn't have much ammo. He doesn't have much going for him. And he's not like this big, strong, like, ninja guy. So it was just overall fun. Again, this sounds like serious, like action, like he's tactical the whole time, but and very much he's very goofy. Which I was like, I was very surprised of how well kind of he did it. And I think some of it's ad-libbed.
I don't know. I think it probably is, though. I feel like it, at least if it's not ad-libbed, it gives the impression that it could be. And that it feels very natural. The one-liners are like, it's a good payoff to like a satisfying kill for the most part. It's nothing that you're just like, oh, come on, really? It wasn't forced, this is good. And overall, I think this is a fun watch. I think it was really well done for this movie. And again, I've only heard of it, and this movie has been parodied to death. I feel like I've heard about all of this movie basically through other media, and I still haven't seen it. But watching it now, obviously there's a lot more nuances and stuff that I just didn't know existed, which was good. I like it made it the viewing experience much more fun, I think. It's a movie that I've always loved coming back to. But Dalton, you've been quiet this whole time.
I was gonna say I love how simple it is, because like it's just like the beginning sets up a simple plot, sets up the characters, sets up their locations and like their relationships to each other, and then the rest of the movie is just like let them play out like how it would, and like basically setting up the pieces and then being able to play with those pieces and like have them do whatever makes sense inside the building, instead of like making it all convoluted and stuff. Like throwing in some twists with like the FBI and stuff. So it's pretty cool.
And I was gonna say, or what were you gonna say? You go ahead. You're a man on a mission.
Dude, I don't know. I mean, I was also very surprised and kind of happy it wasn't just like surprisingly, since he was a cop, I thought it would be very much for cops, but I feel like this movie was very much anti-establishment, like all around. That's actually very anti-cop, anti-FBI, anti-news outlets.
It shows us how terrible they can be.
They cause a huge problem towards the end of the movie, but we'll get into that later. But
essentially
everybody was, he was the good guy. And even though he was a cop, he obviously wasn't acting as a cop. I think in the beginning he was he expresses like, you guys have rules. It's like, well, they don't.
That's exactly what I was going to say.
They don't apply to me, kind of thing.
He's a rogue.
He's kind of a rogue.
He's very far from perfect. Definitely not by the books. But it ends up working out in his favor. You know, there's a scene pretty early on. Well, maybe like halfway through. I feel like it's not really spoilers. It's Die Hard. Most people know what it is. But he says it to one of the terrorists in the movie. They think that he won't do anything to them because he is a cop. And he's like, oh, really? And so he does something. But yeah, it sets up John McClane as a character great. And I think when you have a movie that is as contained as this one is, it works really well. And kind of going off what you were saying, obviously Die Hard's a franchise. The second movie, I do remember being really good. It's been forever since I've seen it. Yeah, that's the one that takes place on a plane. That's the same boat I'm in. I don't really remember it that well, but I know it's good. But I think that... Huh?
I was just gonna say, I remember someone CGI scene that it doesn't hold up. Maybe we'll watch it later, but I won't spoil it.
But I think this first movie has stood the test of time for a reason. You know, there's a reason that it kind of broke into pop culture in the way that a lot of action movies hadn't. I mean, sure, you have Rambo, you know, you have something like, well, Predator is, but that's action horror. It's a little bit different.
I feel like you have a couple movies that have stood the test of time in this era. This is definitely one of them. Yeah. Because it's essentially a story that a lot of people can relate to, a lot of people can go back to and watch, because there's not essentially anything that's very modernized. It's all very traditional kind of story. Bad guys are European.
It kind of had some meta moments too. Like, it kind of had some meta moments too, where it's like, he's like, you're trying to be Rambo, and then he lists like other action stars like John Wayne. He's like, I think also more of a Roy. Something.
All the Western actors. But yeah, at one point I do think that is worth talking about before we do get into more spoiler territory, is that I feel like this movie, it would be very easy to have it be a movie that's propelled forward by stupid decisions, and I feel like it never falls into that. There's never a moment where I'm like, okay, that was dumb, and the plot is only moving forward because of something stupid that happened.
And the villains, even the henchmen, are like completely stupid. Like, some of them are, but like Hans Gruber is
but they're
very
competent.
smart.
They're very smart.
They think like steps ahead of even the hero.
Yeah, exactly. Like, essentially, they were very dangerous people, and you felt they were very dangerous. It wasn't just like they show up, they start shooting people. It's like, oh, these people are dangerous. Like, they don't really shoot anybody. Really, they shoot people they feel they have to, but they don't. They're not just there to kill.
Yeah, their
people.
mission isn't to go and
it's still stuff. We're getting to spoilers, but it's your big Vikings movies. No, I guess not really. Because it's not really.
It's Die Hard.
It's important.
You can bleep my mouth.
But anyways, this is overall. There's a lot of appreciate. For a movie like this that could have easily gone to stupid 80s action, but it doesn't.
Yeah.
Is this movie 80s?
Yeah, it is.
Oh yeah.
But at no point is it ever stupid, and I feel like that isn't something you can say for a whole lot of movies. I mean, don't get me wrong. As a Death Wish 3 fan, I know how fun a stupid action movie can be, but this ain't no Charles Bronson movie. This is Bruce Willis. This is Die Hard.
Yeah.
And it's good.
It's no
classic for a reason.
No Rocky 4. I like Rocky 4, but it's really cartoonish.
I don't know. I feel like Rocky 4 is good. I think it's like good. Rocky 4. I think it stands the test of time because it's goofy.
Yeah.
I feel like it's a good thing for a franchise.
Yeah. Whoa, dude.
But yeah, I guess. Okay, so I know you like some action movies. This guy's favorite movie, at least I don't know if it still is, but at least one of your favorites, The Raid 2.
The Raid.
Both are action movies. Yeah.
Yeah.
Because
How do you feel it stacks up to other action movies you've seen?
I mean, everything around it is pretty much up to par. The action itself, I think, isn't as clean cut as a lot of the movies I do like. Because you have movies like, when I have action movies that I have like high up are like The Dark Knight, and I think The Dark Knight is just a much more interesting story being told, and it's less about the action. But the action is super well done to a point where it's very tense. Where you're not really worried about very clean fighting or anything like that. It's just very like
well choreographed.
Well, it's somewhat well choreographed, but there's a lot of impact. And Die Hard is almost there, but not quite. And then of course the other one is The Raid 2. That one is definitely probably the most clean kind of fighting I've ever seen in any movie, and it's done super well, and it's so entertaining. This one doesn't have any of that. It's not. It's very, very average Joe versus kind of like another terrorist guy. And of course it's more realistic. They're kind of just like pounding on each other, and that's interesting to a point because you don't know who's going to win, or you kind of do, but you don't.
It evens the odds.
It seems it's even, but again, that just doesn't propel it for me. None of it's as good as these other movies, but it's still done pretty well. In
The Dark Knight, the action propels the story, and in Die Hard, I think there's not really any story. It's just like what's set up
like
at the beginning.
Template.
Yeah, that's a template, and then there's action and character development, or like you learn more about the characters, but the
Yeah.
story is pretty simple. Like,
And as much as I
art.
love something like John Wick, you know, where everything is so meticulously choreographed, I do think it works well in this movie to have the action the way that it is.
Yeah, I think if they had him like super clean cut, like John Wick-esque character, it would have been a lot less interesting.
Yeah.
Because you would have just been, okay, this guy's perfect. This guy can kill anybody without a problem. But, you know, it just...
There wouldn't be
everything
any
else wasn't
tension.
as interesting, and it didn't propel it to a point where I was like, oh, this is top 10 movie I've ever seen. I was like, it's fine.
Yeah.
It's good. It's good fun. It's really good fun.
Good Christmas movie.
Yeah. I mean, they only mentioned Christmas, I think, once in this movie.
Well,
Yeah.
and I was going to mention something that I haven't ever mentioned before when I've watched this before. The soundtrack, it's when it shows like Hans Gruber when they're first going in. There's like an evil version of like "Ode to Joy," but it's like slowed down.
It's like a
And then there's-
recurring theme.
Yeah, but something I never noticed is that while that's playing, on top of that, there's like, what's that? Walking in a Winter Wonderland, like mixed into that same Ode to Joy song. It's like two Christmas songs at once. I was like, what the fuck?
Yeah, I did
Mind's
like
blown.
that.
So slow down reverb. So epic.
Yeah,
Just getting
10
Hey,
hours.
let us know if you want the slowed and reverbed version of this podcast. You can make it happen. I know a guy. No, I will say I did really notice that too. I was like, it almost sounds like they're being played in minor keys or something like that. But it sounds adequately intimidating for what they're going for. I thought that was cool. And another thing, you know, kind of piggybacking off what you said, like noticing little things that I never noticed before when I had seen it was the direction. I really liked how, especially compared to like the opening 10 minutes of the movie, once the heist actually starts and things get going, the camera work gets a lot more frantic. You start seeing a lot more handheld, a lot more up close, and just really the chaos that is starting to happen as it does happen. And I thought that was a really cool touch. Like as a
I didn't notice
director, that was thrown in there. Yeah. I mean, it makes sense coming from, I don't know if Predator was first. I should probably check that.
In terms of what?
Like which one came out first. But it makes sense that this is the guy who did Predator, basically. Another one of my favorite action movies. I didn't even know it was the same person.
Predator came out first.
So yeah, Predator came out first. You heard it here, folks. But yeah.
Yeah.
Predator
I guess-
versus
I guess
Bruce
we-
Willis.
Yeah, Predator.
Not John McClane, Bruce Willis.
That's the version you've never seen.
So, I think we give our ratings and then move into spoilers a little bit. Yeah.
All right.
did I give
guess I'll start. No, I'm kidding. So I love this movie. I honestly am going to be very interested to hear what you guys find faults in it. I would give it like, you know, it's one of those movies, like when I think back on it and when I first got something like Letterboxd where I was just going through and I knew I watched it, so I rated it. When I think back on it, I'm like, damn, that is such a fucking good movie. Like, I don't have fault with it, but there is maybe just a hint of something that could have made it just a little bit better, and I don't even know how to quantify it, but I'd give it like a 9.5. Like, I've seen this movie before. I genuinely love watching it. It holds my, even though it's over 2 hours, like it's 2 hours 12, I think.
Yeah.
It held my attention the entire time. Like I said, even when things do slow down and we get some more character interaction, I still feel that it's engaging and it's always building upon the template that it does set up in the beginning. And then the, you know, the action scenes, they're rewarding. It's not so crazy that you can't believe it. But above all else, it's just a movie I love coming back to. So yeah.
Nice.
What about you guys? What about you, Dalton?
I give it a 9 out of 10.
Nice.
Just, I think the thing that you were talking about for me, that's what it's lacking a little bit, is something that it's just like a lack of story, but I feel like it shouldn't be added. Like, I feel like for me, it can't be like a 5-star, or else maybe it would like ruin the movie if they added some more like story stuff. But yeah, I gave it a 9 out of 10.
Nice. Yeah, I gave it an 8 out of 10. I think it's a really well done movie. I think overall there's a lot of just really good stuff you can turn back to. I don't know if this one for me has a ton of rewatchability. I can watch it and still have fun with it, but after this watch, I was like, there's not a lot, like a lot of stuff that I was like, okay, maybe back in the day this could have been amazing. Like some of like the practical effects were done really well, or the quotable one-liners, yeah. But I was like, there could be more for that, that 9 or a 10 for me. It's like the story itself wasn't the strong point. It was good enough, but I feel like that could have been more interesting, where you cared more about like essentially the reason he was there was the relationship between him and his wife. I don't think they did a lot with that, which I think could have made for a more tense moment or towards the end. But it was kind of like oh, well, we need to kind of give this superhero who's kind of like almost winning every single time some kind of drawback, kind of like, and we'll get into that in spoilers, but I feel like that could have been made a little bit stronger. And then there's just other things was like, yeah, this is really fun, but none of it's like, wow, this is 10 out of 10 kind of entertainment.
Yeah, this is for rewatches. This is like a put on the background while I do something else during Christmas time.
You need it?
No, just move in. I'm listening. Sorry, I was trying to get this dude to fucking scoot in right here.
No, the camera's going to be this wide. I already told you this.
Unbelievable. You're probably right, actually.
Oh, my. Probably right about that.
But no, I get it. It does kind of have that vibe, because when I think about it, I'm never like, oh, I'm just going to go seek out Die Hard right now. It's just
never like this, looking at it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's the type of movie that if it was ever, like, this is a hypothetical scenario. If it was on TV, I would put it on there and watch it immediately without even thinking twice, unless I was watching something else, which I really wanted to watch. I would switch it to Die Hard, and I would
Die
enjoy
Hard
the hell
takes
out
priority
of it every time.
over a lot of things for me.
That's true.
If I see it on
and
TV.
By the way, this is revolutionary, because this is the first time on the podcast that I have a movie this highly rated that you did not shit on completely, and so we're making progress here, folks.
I didn't shit on Ginger Snaps. I give that a pretty high score, 7. Right?
Not kidding. Yeah.
I thought you were going to say 9.
I was just joking around. But yeah, I guess we'll go ahead and get into spoilers then.
Yeah.
So let's talk about, what are you guys' favorite kills?
My favorite part of the movie was gas was 74 cents in LA.
Dude, talk about good times.
Yeah,
I remember that.
Great times.
I should have filled up the canisters.
Yeah.
Dalton, what was your favorite kill in this movie?
I'm trying to remember the kills. I like it's a villain kill, Hans Gruber, when the guy's trying to convince John McClane, like the annoying
his name is
business
Ellis.
guy.
I wrote it down.
Ellis, yeah.
I was like, bro, when he got his ass murked, that is a win for humanity.
Well, I wasn't happy that he died, but I was happy that like
I was.
it kind of like plays with your expectations a little bit, because he doesn't know that it's his last moments. But John McClane and Hans Gruber all know. But he's like saying all this stuff like sarcastically, like, yeah, they're gonna kill me, yeah.
He's
right.
like shooting smiles over at Hans.
Yeah, but then it's
Hans
they're actually gonna kill you.
Yeah.
And I don't know, I thought that was well done.
It's a great moment.
That's true, yeah. I think
He shoots him in the head.
something I thought was very good about that scene as well was basically he could have, because obviously that guy didn't think, he wasn't very smart, and he could have spoiled like that his wife, he was basically with his wife at the party, to like save his own ass, and that could have brought John McClane down, and it would have basically made for a whole different situation.
He was like sacrificing himself without meaning to do it.
Yeah,
but it was like kind of heroic without him meaning to do it. Heroic.
I thought that was like, okay, this is a good moment, because he could easily say that your wife is down here, and he would mess up everything, because now they would have leverage over him. Because at this point, they basically had nothing. They didn't have a name. They didn't know who he was or kind of why he was there. He kind of was like, okay, this is just like a rogue.
Yeah, and like he said, he was like the monkey wrench.
Yeah.
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 I didn't cut you off. Come
Dude,
on.
why'd you cut me off? I was
Come
kidding.
on.
I was looking at. I thought you were gonna say something.
Drama
No, I was
already.
just, that's what he says when the terrorists are asking him who he is. Okay.
I'm out.
It's a YouTube outro. He says, he's like, oh, I'm just a fly in the ointment. You know, he's just trying to be a nuisance, a general nuisance. And that's when I do love that you get to see Ellis is, I don't even know the actor's name, but you know, he's like fucking
Michael
shitting
Roberts.
and grin, bro. He's coked out the entire movie.
Yeah.
He's cooked out the entire movie. He goes in there thinking he's like, I got this shit. And
I make $1 million deals for breakfast.
Exactly.
How does he make $1 million? That guy. Everyone would hate him.
Okay. But yeah, it shows, I guess, realistically, it reinforces the threat of the terrorists as well. Because even though it's like firmly established that they aren't out to kill, they have absolutely no problem using people like that.
Yeah.
And that's how they end up getting John McClane's name and, you know, domino effects throughout the movie. But yeah, I realized I didn't even say anything about a kill. My favorite that I actually wrote down in my notes, because I was like, damn, that is kind of brutal, was there's a scene in which it's after John McClane is on the run when Hans Gruber does a fake accent and fools John McClane.
Oh yeah, I like that. That's my favorite scene.
Yeah, that shit is good, because that shows Hans is smart as fuck, man. Like, he immediately was so scared, but he twisted it into being, I mean, granted, I don't think he should have fallen for it, but, you know, in context of the movie, I get it.
He didn't, right? Like, he gave him an empty gun.
Well,
Yeah.
I think he
Or
when he
just
saw
like
the
as a
name, that's when he
precaution.
realized, when he said, he's like, what's your name? He's like, Billy. And then he had that whole name.
Yeah. Oh, yeah,
list.
the
He was like,
list.
okay, your name's not on here, so obviously you're lying.
Okay.
And and there's
Wait, it
a
was on
scene-
there, though. Because he said
Yeah, it was on
Clay.
there. That's why he believed him more, because it said Clay, Bill Clay.
But he gave him the gun after that.
Yeah.
He believed him
I
I
less.
guess he was always wary.
It's
of him.
just they're
I don't
both
think he
smart.
knew for sure. but I
He was
think
just being
he had-
cautious.
Yeah.
Yeah. And anyways, that scene where he's on the run from them, he ends up shooting out a guy's knees. And it's the most brutal looking shit ever. I was like,
Oh yeah, that was
fuck,
fucking
man.
Yeah, a lot of the squibs are done super well in this movie.
Is it-
I'm really happy to see.
Yeah, it's not like a particularly bloody movie. Not a violent action movie.
So that popped
It
out.
can get pretty violent.
But when it does get violent, it's
It
hitting
gets
good.
really violent.
His
The
bloody
squibs are
feet.
fucking crazy. But
Oh, I
His
know,
bloody
man.
feet.
That is brutal. It's like you feel for him when it happens. I mean, I feel like that's another iconic part of this movie is him
I think
running
that's,
around.
that's
barefoot.
probably the only scene I remember initially, because I've never seen this movie and I didn't really watch clips, but I remember watching on TV once, seeing Bruce Willis drag himself into a room with bloody ass feet. That's the only scene I remember, and I wasn't even sure if that was Die Hard. Now it is. Now I realize
No, it is. It's Die Hard.
it's fucking.
Okay, so look, here's the deal, folks. All right, it's an action movie, and that's all I got. Okay, he's traumatized. What the fuck happened to him?
It cut out, I think.
No way, for real?
Yeah.
No, dude, how can I get cut out on that?
Dalton. Did
No,
ours get cut out too?
I don't know.
We're still recording.
Yeah, we're still.
All right, we're gonna keep going with this. Hopefully, Dalton
guess
comes
so.
back.
I guess so. Let's talk. Let's talk about.
Uh,
Let's talk about Alan Rickman as Hans. What did
Alan
you think?
Rickman.
What did you think about his performance?
He was fantastic. Obviously, I think him and Bruce Willis were the best part of the movie. I don't think anyone's any better than the other. Honestly, I thought Bruce Willis, Bruce Willis was hands down fantastic.
Like he owned the role.
I think it's tied between him. And I don't think people appreciate the way he did that role. It's so good. Like, he's so goofy, and it's just fun to watch. He's
Yeah.
super fun. He's charismatic. He's charming.
he definitely
Even
is.
though, he's a New York cop, and obviously you're supposed to hate cops.
And he's kind of an asshole, but
Yeah.
he's an asshole that you can like, and you can be like, okay, this dude's actually he's fun to watch. And then pairing him up against Alan Rickman, that's when you start to see like, damn, they picked like two of the best fucking actors they could have for this.
Yeah.
And he's Alan Rickman is like, he's menacing, in a very unconventional way. Usually when you have somebody in an action movie who's like the main antagonist, he's like this other beefy dude who is supposed to be like on par with the protagonist. And in a lot of ways, he's not. You know, he doesn't look like, you know, Bruce Willis has muscle. I mean, he's not like...
He's not
steroids.
intimidating.
He's not
at all.
intimidating.
I feel, how tall is he? He's probably like 5'8",
He's like
5'9".
6 foot.
Is he 6
I think
foot?
he's like 6 foot, yeah.
Oh, I didn't know
Alan
that's
Rickman's
tall.
tall. But,
yeah. Alan Rickman, I think, was just a legendary actor. I think all his roles, he kills it, and this one was no exception. He's obviously intimidating. Obviously, he's insane, but he doesn't come off as it, which I think is really impressive. Because, you know, I think he was kicked out of, like, he was exiled from a certain organization.
Yeah, it was like some radical terrorist group.
Yeah. And obviously, you have to be insane to be kind of
kicked out of that
shit.
Yeah.
But he did it so well. I was very impressed with everything, and I think if people like to put him at like the top of like villains lists all the time, you always see like, you know, Watch Mojo, top 10 villains of all time.
Well, some people do like watching top 10s. We found that out before we started recording.
Yeah. I think he probably, when you see those like top 10 villains, he's probably at least top 10. You know, with Darth Vader and such.
Yeah, he owns the screen when he's on it.
Yeah, I don't know. For me, I would put him like top. I think he's fantastic and super interesting to watch.
I mean, Heath Ledger is the Joker.
Heath Ledger, obviously,
he takes him any day.
Oh yeah, for sure. I think with that, he had just a lot more of a character. I think his character is done well. I think Alan Rickman plays the character well, but again, it's just one of those things where it could be much more interesting.
And yeah, I guess I know that's something you said you thought was kind of consistent throughout the movie.
Yeah. Yeah, it could be more.
Yeah, I would agree.
But if it was any more, it would be like...
It'd be Die Hard 5.
Yeah.
Whatever that is.
It was Too Late to Die Hard.
Dude, that could be another name. Too Late to Die Hard. That's fucking good.
I'm fucking good at this shit.
They should fucking hire us. I'm just
God damn it.
Yeah, dude.
Right? No, I'm kidding. I'm kidding.
What was the last one called? The Good
Okay.
Day to Die Hard.
True. And then before that was Live Free or Die Hard.
Yeah, and I just remember, like, none of these movies, from what I've seen, none of these movies quite reached the heights that this one did.
Maybe Die Hard 2.
Which is weird, because I don't understand how they kept going with this series. Because I feel like after this one, I was like, this is it.
It's like there's only so many times that guy would find himself in that situation.
Yeah, exactly. I think he becomes more of a superhero later on. I don't know, in the second one, does he become more like invincible, or is it
no, not really. It's a much smaller environment. Yeah.
Is it? Okay.
It's a plane versus the entire building. And then the third one, I know it's like almost like a buddy cop movie. The third one, I should say, a lot of people will tell you that's their favorite and one of the best action movies ever made.
Really?
That same director is this one, and it's got Samuel L. Jackson in it.
Is that Die Hard with a Vengeance?
Yeah.
What's the second one called?
Die Hard 2.
Oh,
And Die Harder.
Die Harder
With a boner. But no, I do agree. I feel like, you know, it definitely comes off as being too superhero-esque. And this movie isn't that, and I appreciate it all the more for it.
Yeah, and I think with this you can watch it back, you know, have fun with it. Again, this is not a movie I don't think, like you guys were saying, that you could turn it on, have it with you. I don't think I can.
You wouldn't do it.
I don't know if I'd be super interested. I could put it on and be like, oh, this is fun. But I wasn't like, damn, I have to see all these scenes, him saying these lines, yippee-ki-yay, motherfucker.
Clapping when it happens.
Somebody said, like, he didn't say that, or he said something different. I remember it was like, that was one of like Mandela faces, like, he didn't say this.
Like, no, I just watched it.
He's like, no, he said
yeah.
yippee-ki-yay, motherfucker. Like,
the other person
was
stupid as fuck.
That was the line I thought he said, and he said exactly like I thought.
They were trying to gaslight you.
I guess.
It was me. I was trying
Can
to
you guys hear
gaslight
me?
him.
Yeah. But movie was done fantastically. It says Dalton's back, but
I think it just says that it's on there.
yeah.
Oh, well. I guess we'll wrap it up.
Dalton may come back in a little bit. Who knows?
Yeah. Is there any other points you wanted to go over?
I think there was. I think practically this is done very well.
Like the effects?
The explosions.
Yeah.
Phenomenal. I think most everything's been practically, right?
Okay, I will say that much for sure. It does genuinely look like they could have blown up an entire building. Like, obviously that didn't happen, but with the way it's presented, it looks like it could have been an actual hotel building that got just destroyed. like all the time, you know. And then like the more the story goes on, you know, I was talking about tension earlier. You find out the C4s are lined at the roof where all the hostages would be.
Yeah.
And that's just so fucking smart to have that even be a thing. You have the FBI agents, which are dirtbags in their own right. They're like, we're probably gonna lose like, I don't know, a quarter of them, and they're like, I can live with that. But no, the terrorists just planned on fucking blowing them all up. When you have moments like that, it's like, it's pretty fucking cool.
Yeah, and I think that segues into the next part. I think we should, at least I really wanted to talk about, was the anti-establishment, basically the whole movie. Basically, you know, obviously it starts out with the cops, the head deputy. I mean, the first cop that gets there, he's very chill. And I want to talk about his, like, whole arc, because I think that was probably the worst part of the movie.
Really?
Yeah, and I'll get into that. I'll explain why I think it was fucking awful. But basically the general sergeant, the chief, the sheriff.
Oh yeah, the deputy,
something like that, top guy of LAPD.
Yeah,
kind of a douchebag,
dude. Oh, absolutely.
They failed, and it was satisfying to watch. Like
because you know John McClane's right.
Yeah, you know John McClane's
giving
right.
them the playbook, and they're still not listening.
Yeah, and it wasn't. They didn't say it because like, oh, New York cops are better than LA cops. It's like just because he actually does know the situation.
Yeah,
and he understands that these guys are way smarter than you right now, and you're going by the books, and these guys aren't by the books at all.
Yeah,
and then again, going by the books, the FBI, they go in, they fail really hard, they get fucked.
Yeah, consistently.
Yeah, and they actually get killed because the helicopter blows up. Because, of course, they try to get in. They're like, okay, we're going to blow up this guy. And it doesn't work out.
Which is one hell of an action scene, by the way.
Oh, yeah. And
that is probably the biggest spectacle piece of that movie.
Oh, for sure. Oh, look who's back.
Hey, he's back.
Finally. God.
Who knows what happened?
My internet never goes out. I know
this shit ain't getting edited out.
Yeah.
And that's okay. Because
it
wouldn't be the Midnite Zone if we ain't have something going on.
He got sucked in. Yeah, anyways, Dalton, just to catch you up.
Fill me in. Say everything again.
Oh, I'll fill you in. Not up.
Huh? Just kidding.
So we're talking about the biggest spectacle piece in this movie when the tower goes boom and how it ties into this anti-establishment message of how all these cops are literally being told by John McClane that what they're doing isn't going to work, and then it doesn't work, and they're stupid. Yeah. What do you think about that? Cool. No, I'm kidding.
Yeah, I didn't really think about it that way, but now that you point it out,
because
Carlos is making a point.
Eventually, it goes from levels. Like obviously, the LAPD, they go in, they fail really hard, get men
they're
shot and hurt, and I think that also made the terrorists a lot more interesting because they weren't just out to kill. They're like,
they even got
just get them injured.
Remember when they had the bazooka for the armored car?
Oh yeah,
that shit was it's snappy. I like that segment.
But there's that, and then the FBI, of course, trying to get in. They get blown up because they get too close to the sun, and they think, oh, they're going by the books. And, of course, the terrorists know exactly what they're going to do, and they pay for it.
They didn't even... Oh, never mind. They did plan for them to blow up. Because I was like, they just blew up the roof, but they didn't, like, shoot at them with a bazooka or anything. But they said... Yeah. Never mind.
And in many ways, actually, like thinking about that, you know, John McClane has to do a lot more than just be the guy who is stuck in this situation, because he has to go and actively save people after.
It's a babysit.
Exactly. That was funny when he was like, he's like, "Go, everybody, go!" And he starts shooting in the air, and you see everybody just running in.
Yeah,
and I think that practicality was just so fun. Like everything was in real life, and he was like, "Okay, this looks real." And this is fun.
Yeah.
But I wanted to get into the final arc.
With Al, right? The sergeant.
The sergeant. Yeah. Is that the black guy?
Yeah.
Right?
Al Powell.
I thought... What?
I know, that shit confused me, too. Because his name is Al, but his last name is Powell. So I was like, were they saying Powell the whole time? And then the credits rolled. Is
he calling him Pal? Like a friend?
I thought so.
No, but... basically his arc was he's like, oh yeah, I shot a kid, so I couldn't bring my gun up to anymore. And by the end of the movie, his arc was now he can shoot people again.
Yeah.
I was like, what? I mean, obviously, like nowadays, I don't think that would fly as well as it did back then. Because I get it. I get you want to have like, oh, he's getting his courage back again. But
the same
it's
time,
like
like, he
it's a
fucked up pretty
weird
bad.
like nowadays that just comes off a little weird because obviously
Yeah.
if somebody shoots a kid
I'm back, baby.
unintentionally, yeah,
He's like,
I'm
not
back.
exactly, not exactly heroism at that point.
He's not exactly a hero. Obviously, people nowadays would like him either in jail or at least off the force, but
Yeah.
more than likely in jail.
Yeah.
At least he felt bad about it. You know,
Yeah,
he
yeah.
wasn't
At
just
least-
like,
yeah, it
I
wasn't-
did it. And
yeah.
then he was
he's
like,
like,
yeah, I
thank you,
guess I
John
won't fall.
McClane. You unleashed the
I know.
killer
I
gene.
can now,
And he's like, I'm going to go find the nearest playground.
now we can shoot people again.
Yeah.
Oh, okay. Well, I guess that wasn't the greatest.
Yeah.
But I did like the relationship, McClane
Yeah,
and
it's almost
Powell.
like
I think
a
that was,
romance, you know?
yeah.
You
that
stay
built up.
in there. You stay alive.
I know this was like within like maybe like an hour
No.
that they knew each other.
No. Dude, they knew each other. It was like going on for a while.
That was
It was
like,
like at
5
least
hours.
3. At least 3 hours.
I don't know if that whole movie is 5 hours. I felt like it started at sundown and ended at like.
It could end at like
Nah,
3
you know,
a.m.
it did end before the sun came up.
I didn't feel like that passage of time was like hours. I feel like it was relatively short because I feel like
Yeah.
we were watching the span of time. It wasn't like this is like he was at no point was he quitting
Yeah,
because
I
he's
guess
very much active,
that is pretty true for the most part.
Yeah.
So at least 2 hours.
which is not that long.
No, that's not that
So like
long.
it's like you.
But it's a life
I
and
get- I
death
get that
thing.
quote. He's
Like
like,
a-
you're my
like-
brother, and then they were like
Yeah,
hugging.
they gave a
and
big
shit.
ol'
Yeah, I was
hug.
like, okay, bro.
Gave
Like,
him the
Then they started
Meadows.
kissing. I was like, what?
no.
I mean, I was like, yeah.
Whoa.
Wait, okay.
Yes.
Somebody watched the unrated version.
Rated X.
No, that's a cool. That is a cool point, though. Like, and it shows just how flawed the police force really is.
Yeah, I mean overall.
We're not allowed to use force because it implies violence. You know, movie taught me that. Hot Fuzz. Okay,
We
And
don't
also-
talk about Hot Fuzz
oh, yeah.
here.
I talked about
The
Hot
last
Fuzz, too.
establishment
No.
I think was the fuck was pretty interesting. Was the news
Yeah,
trying to capture this story and they fucked everything up.
I was
feel
gonna say
this-
that part was like really weak to me, like the
Yeah?
reporter, because it's like the only reason they had it was so that Hans Gruber could find out who John McClane's wife is.
Yeah,
I feel like
guess.
that's the only reason.
Yeah,
Like,
but I don't
All
know.
that just led up to that, and I was like,
I feel like that still created a good amount of tension for the story, though. Like, it made sense
Yeah,
why
I-
it all happened the way it did to me.
yeah, that's
Yeah.
the thing. It was like it made sense, but it could have been done in a better way.
Yeah, I can see that. I mean,
like
it
we
is
didn't need
nice.
the backstory of the reporter, like walking around the
Yeah.
news studio and stuff.
Yeah, that was definitely odd. It was like his whole rivalry with that other guy,
Yeah,
and that
doesn't that reporter show up in the second one, Cole? On the
I don't
plane?
remember.
Like,
I ain't even
think
gonna
he
lie.
does.
to you. Listen, I remember the
Yeah,
general scenario. I remember
so.
bits and pieces. I don't remember that.
we don't need all the
You're
excuses.
fucking crazy, dude.
Just kidding.
He probably does. And then that's the bromance in that movie.
nice.
I
Yeah,
actually,
him and his
you,
wife.
you stay in there. You stay alive. That's what reporter says in the second one.
What are
Yeah.
Twinkies made out of?
you remember that?
No.
Wait, John McClane was eating a Twinkie, and he's like, "What the fuck is this?" And the other guy
he
literally
said that.
went down the ingredient list, and
He's
he
like,
was
"What the
like,
goddamn hell
"Breakfast
is
of
this?"
Champions. No.
Wait,
He's like, "Yellow
what?
5?"
Is this in Die Hard?
Yeah.
Yeah,
I
he's like
missed this. What?
the
Bro, probably
policeman knew all
nodded
the
off.
ingredients. He's like listing chemicals. He's like Proban 5,
Oh,
yellow,
didn't he
yellow
buy
dye.
like? He bought
bought a
like
shit
10.
ton,
He bought like
dude.
20.
That shit
fucking
was
pretty
Twinkies.
funny.
He
Come
bought
on.
like 30. I mean, he bought
Yeah,
like
he
40,
bought like
he bought-
literally the entire. It was a hostess truck that got sold out that day.
He's like
And
my.
he was like, "My wife pregnant."
yeah.
He's like, sure.
Okay.
Yeah.
And the guy
Okay.
was bullshitting, but
Carlos once got me a cake that said "Sorry for getting you pregnant," but that was a long
You
time
touched
ago.
Carlos's cakes. What?
whoa, hey,
Huh?
They're just all these sentences are just terrible.
It's like abort mission. No.
Did you guys talk about Hans Gruber already?
Yeah, we
Like-
were talking about him for like the whole time you were gone.
Oh yeah,
actually.
but
But
he's
hey,
like the best part of the movie.
Yeah, I was saying,
yeah.
we were
Here we
saying,
go.
he
Here
was
we fucking
pretty
go
good.
again. No, I'm kidding.
But it's like I would say, Bruce Willis's character rivals him. I think Bruce Willis's character is phenomenal in this movie.
Yeah, they're both
I think
good.
they were both built off, or they kind of worked off each other in a way that, like it made the movie.
And it's sexually tense.
Yeah,
Like, there's a lot of
they
sexual
were
tension
gonna
between them.
have sex, and we all felt and we all knew it.
At
but-
least they were gonna kiss.
But they only did it. It was like almost like a Romeo and Juliet-esque kind of story.
Yeah, it was really
Star-crossed
strange
lovers.
the way that worked.
Kind of.
It's like that horrible.
People don't see it that way. Man.
Yeah.
Yeah, it was like that
go ahead and-
horrible Romeo and Juliet remake.
No, but
Like,
he was
Leonardo
Carlos
DiCaprio
was, sorry. Carlos was. He was saying that like John McClane is like the way Bruce Willis had like done that performance is actually very good.
Yeah.
Well, he was saying more than that. I'm paraphrasing.
Carlos was like,
Yeah.
I wish it like he went to the barber shop and he's like, "Can I get the Bruce Willis cut?" And they're like, "What, balding? What is that?"
Receiving it alive.
Cut it off.
He's like, "Just give me that."
Man, why is he wearing that hat? No, I'm joking.
That's why.
But no, it's true. Hans Gruber is great. We did get to talk about that. What do you have to say about
Yeah,
him,
what are your
though?
opinions on that?
I liked him.
Okay.
Anyway,
Cool. I'm like, how do we
Yeah.
No,
Oh, okay.
I like when he said,
Great.
he's like, "Yippee-ki-yay, motherfucker."
I know, and they all
I like
start
what he said.
laughing hard as fuck. Hey, but
Yeah.
that was a smart moment of Bruce Willis's part, though. I mean, only a real dumbass would be smart enough to think about like taping a gun to your back and walking
he's
around
sweaty back?
shirtless. Yeah,
It was Christmas tape too. Just
Yeah.
pointing it out.
it is a Christmas.
So it is a Christmas movie, yes. Because he shot him with a Christmas gun.
So
You guys talk about Argyle.
the news.
Yeah.
No, I forgot. The limo
Oh,
driver.
I didn't even know that's how you said his name. To be honest with you,
He said it. He said it like a bunch of times.
I know, but I thought it was
He's like,
Argon.
you're quicker than you look, Argyle. Oh no, what did he say?
I thought it was Argon. No, that is it. It's quick. Or you're sharp.
Sharper than, yeah, something like that.
Yeah.
Some shit.
He's like, "You're not as fucking
Oh, he's like, you
stupid as
catch-
you
you
like.
catch
You're,
on
he's
fast,
like, you're
Argon.
above average intelligence. Like,
You're not complete dumbass."
I thought he would have played a character almost like a sidekick. He'd be like,
Yeah.
"Oh man," like you know those like at this time like black characters.
Yeah, they would
for
be
some
kind
reason
of-
were like
I don't know.
characters of black people.
yeah, no, I
So
agree.
he's like,
Yeah.
"Damn man, I gotta get it. I'll go help him." Like,
And he gets
did
like
help
one
at the
kill.
end.
Wait,
Yeah.
Have you guys seen The Fifth Element?
I have.
Yeah,
Actually, yes,
I thought he
have.
was gonna be a character like that.
Like
You thought he
Ruby
was gonna be
Rod,
that guy.
Yeah, I thought he was gonna be like that. Where it's very
where
like
he gets like one
high-pitched.
kill by accident.
I'm glad they didn't do that to him, but it's like, you know, I
did
guess.
help.
Yeah,
It's cool.
he's a cool guy. He just is
He
there.
punched him. He's like,
He's real. I would not have stayed there for that long waiting.
yeah.
no
he
response.
he had a limo. He had some alcohol. He was
He had a
good.
bear in the back
Yeah, you're
seat.
bear in the back seat.
No one knows what happened to that bear, but everyone else is okay.
Yeah,
Okay. But yeah,
yeah.
it's cool. Anti-establishment news.
Establishment.
The news sucks because they were being dickheads.
They're about to call.
ICS.
INS. I don't even know what it stands for, but I get the idea.
Yeah, I thought it was
Is it like ICE?
Yeah, I thought it was supposed to be like ice, but like a
But
different
80s
version.
ice.
The 80s ice. Yeah. He's like, I'm gonna call you ice. I was like, okay, buddy, chill the fuck
Fucking
out. But,
racist asshole.
yeah,
That's why he said like,
They
"Back
deserve
up,
to get
everyone.
punched."
I gotta be racist
Yeah.
for a second. Don't
was
put
like,
this on
Classic
camera.
80s. Classic 80s.
And then you're like,
it's
take me
Ronald
back.
Reagan era.
Yeah, and I'm glad it like at the end. I know this is a smaller detail, but I'm glad she punched him instead of like him reacting to it because I thought if he would have been like if you had punched him, I'd be like. I mean, I know he's getting punched in the end of the movie,
He deserved
but
it.
I'm glad she did it instead of him because he had never known if he had punched him. It would have been a
It
nitpick
would-
for me. But
yeah, because that
she
would have been
Yeah.
a plot hole.
I know this
My
is kind of like. Oh,
My only gripe is that she didn't Mortal Kombat uppercut him
yeah,
Taking
Yeah.
out his
up
spine,
into the
too.
ceiling. Yeah.
yeah,
That would have been cool.
that'd be fun.
The other thing I really wanted to talk about was how Bruce Willis ends up taking a beating, and it shows throughout the movie. I like that he's
Yeah,
not,
he's like a zombie at the end.
dude. He's dragging his foot, and it looks like he's gathering dust on his
Yeah.
one foot that he's dragging. You can see a line behind him. I'm like, bro, that's fucking nasty. He
Yeah,
probably didn't
even
even
his
shower
wife-
after that,
Yeah,
huh?
Even his wife at the end, when she's being held hostage, she's like, "Jesus Christ!" When she sees him,
she's so yeah.
he's like, "Hey, honey." Hans.
I thought that was cool. Oh yeah, another fun fact before we wrap this up. I'm not going to acknowledge whatever that was. Is that when Alan Rickman was dropped, he actually didn't know that they were going to drop him. So when he's surprised, it's genuine surprise on his face.
Yeah, dude, I do remember that tidbit. I've seen that tidbit like.
You probably saw it in a Watch Mojo Top 10.
Watch Mojo Top 10
Which
moments.
you watched that, by the way, right?
Huh?
You watched those. Right?
I watched.
Yeah,
I used to watch Mojo to get my top 10 movies list made for me.
Hey, that's good. Yeah. I did that because then I don't have to think about it.
I just put those top 10 lists on my top 10 list in Letterboxd. So
no wonder you got so many followers.
I know how to get it.
All right.
Anyways, yeah.
Die Hard,
great. Gruber, great. Number Gruber.
Don't look behind you right now.
Gruber.
Hans Gruber, John McClane.
Do you have any
He's a little
other
goober.
thoughts, Dalton?
His wife was boss lady,
That's true.
and they killed the Japanese guy pretty quickly.
Oh yeah, Mr.
He's like, I will not tell you the code.
Takagi.
It's like,
All right.
okay. At least he showed they meant business.
Yeah.
You guys remember that brutal kill where he like wraps the chain around his neck?
Oh,
and then he,
yeah.
like, pushes him.
I thought that was a
it didn't
good
kill
death.
him, unfortunately. That would have been a cool kill.
It was a good fight.
Oh yeah,
though.
I forgot about
Like
that.
that's the one where you can
There
tell
should've been some
because Bruce Willis killed that guy's brother pretty early in the
Yeah,
movie. He was just out for blood the entire time. I felt like it was a really good fight. It's something that lasted a long time too. It wasn't just some quick exchange of fisticuffs.
And they both had motivation.
Yeah.
going into it. He wanted
We
to
should get a
save
movie
everybody.
from that guy's point of view. Carl.
Rest in peace, Carl.
Fucking Europeans. Hey, they were dressed hella nice. I'll be honest.
They were.
They were
That's why
he's
they
like-
got all that men's fashion.
He's like, I don't know what he said. He said some name. He's like John Lewis.
John
I have
Phillips,
two.
London.
Yeah, John Phillips.
Yeah.
I have two
Hey.
myself.
He knows his suits. What can I say? Guy knows what's up, you know?
Yeah.
Yeah,
And
I like
I
the
think it's a
suave
good
villain.
thing. I think it's a good thing that they showed they meant business by killing the company leader, though. Like, I felt like that really set the tone for the rest of the movie
Yeah.
Yeah.
about like what they were gonna do.
Be respectful.
Yeah.
Say his name, not this
Okay,
the company
what was it?
leader.
What was his name? Takahashi?
Takagi.
Takahashi. Yeah.
Oh,
Was it Takahashi?
Yes.
Oh, nice. I
he's
totally got it.
lying. You're lying.
Oh.
It's
His name was Midoriya.
I don't remember anymore.
Oh,
Midoriya?
Midoriya?
No. No,
What
you
the
don't
fuck?
want to
What
hear
about
that. You don't
Midoriya?
want to hear that. Okay. Well, I guess with that, you guys have anything else you want to say before we wrap this up? Nice and pretty.
I have a machine
like a Christmas
gun.
present.
Hold-
That is true.
hold.
He does have a machine gun.
He's
I was going to
holding
bring it up.
the
but-
hostage. Cole's
He didn't
holding
have to
hostage.
read out the
That's
ho
not
ho
true.
ho.
Yeah.
He's like,
Oh, it's like,
super slow.
Her.
That's what he said in Harry Potter when he got the tear and he saw in his memory. He saw the whole takeover. He's like, how. Harry Potter.
This is the precursor to Harry Potter, though.
Yeah.
That's
Yeah,
something
basically.
else we didn't really talk
He
about.
went to
basically
go
died and
teach
went
at
to
Hogwarts.
Hogwarts, yeah.
And what's more important is that it's also the precursor to some people finally getting their fucking heads on straight and putting Hermione into Minecraft, which was a big moment for humanity. But that's a story for a different time, I feel.
Yes.
I feel like that's
That'll eventually come into fruition. Eventually on this podcast, but for now, we'll end it here. Again, I rated 8 out of 10. This movie sucks. But watch it. You know? Watch it for yourself. Have some fun. If you're looking for a good Christmas movie with the fam, this is one. There may be some naked ladies in there.
Oh,
You know?
yeah.
Yeah.
Poster. He's like, girls. Like using the elevator
Yeah, it
shaft.
wasn't even just. There was one naked girl, I guess.
There was 2.
Oh,
Remember they were having
whatever.
sex
Who's
in the
counting?
office?
Yeah, that's what I was.
Well,
counting.
there was also another one. He walked in. And he's like, there was a poster.
Oh yeah.
For some reason, he
Okay.
like walked by and like put his
He's like,
hand.
girls.
Yeah, I
like,
do remember that. I do remember that.
Yeah,
But she wasn't real.
I guess yeah. It was pretty, but
She's
it's there.
real. She's
We
a
take
real
what we
human
get, I
being.
guess.
So that means
somewhere.
this is great for the family.
Yeah, it's cool. You know, I got shown this movie when I was 6.
Yeah,
Sweet.
I watched it really young too.
Oh, it was pretty young. I was
Just
pretty
me?
young. I wasn't 6. No, it's a good movie though. It's
Yeah.
something that you can come. Well, Carlos said he can't come back to it. I found that it's always good for this time of year just to throw it on, have some fun watching it, like you said.
Oh yeah,
But
Yeah.
Carlos doesn't like fun.
I don't.
No, I'm joking. I'm
fun.
joking. I'm joking.
I'm a funless
I'm
guy.
He doesn't like fun.
I respect his opinion
Yeah,
in some way.
He's the Mr. Krabs
Except
of
for Night of the
Midnight
Demon
Spock.
and Godzilla. But yeah, you know, good times here in the Midnight Zone. I think that'll probably just about do it.
yeah. I think that was a good podcast, guys. What do you guys think?
Yeah, you know, I know.
Besides my
it's gonna be,
internet cutting out.
Yeah, I mean, Dalton was gone for like 10 minutes, but that's okay.
Yeah,
He came
it's
back.
Cool. Let us all know what you thought of it. Thank you all for listening. I mean, if
Yeah.
you're watching this on YouTube, hello. I hope you enjoy this little reunion Carlos and I got to do.
Yeah, and then Dalton finally showing his face.
Yeah, it was
Yeah,
honestly
I got
long
a
time
webcam.
coming.
Yeah, finally. God
I can
damn.
show this now.
I don't even know
What
what,
the hell is
that
that?
is, but it's pretty cool.
It's an egg.
It's a stress ball.
Oh,
I don't know. I have it.
Hey, we're gonna need some of those later, huh?
Yeah, when we watch our next movie for the podcast, Klaus.
Yeah.
Yes, it's available on Netflix, but we're getting it really, really into the Christmas spirit because these have all been like kind of Christmas movies. This one is a Christmas movie.
We
One of my
decided to
favorites.
stop goofing around. Basically.
Yeah, we decided to get serious. We wanted to die hard, so we went with Klaus.
Is that
And
only on
yeah.
Netflix?
I think it's only on Netflix. Do you not have
Damn
Netflix on?
Yeah, I'll
Got
get
you.
it.
Damn it.
I got you.
Yeah, dude. got you.
We do things differently here in the Midnight Zone.
Yeah, dude.
But
Klaus, one of my favorites. Go watch it with us, and we'll review it next Sunday.
yeah.
Yeah.
And let us know what
That'd
you
be
all want to
Christmas?
see. Yeah, it will be.
Yes.
Let us know what you all want to see for the new year because we're not stopping anytime soon. But yeah, dude, let us know. We really do like hearing what everybody thinks about it. It means a lot to us, and we all love doing it. So
Oh yeah.
fun times here.
We do it for the fans.
Yeah, definitely not for ourselves. Whatever that means. Not kidding. All right. Well, thank you all so much for listening.
Dalton, any last words?
Yippee-ki-yay, motherfucker. I
Nice.
said
That's
it in
where we're
the
ended.
Snape version.
That's where we're ended.
Did it catch my YouTube clip?